Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the deepest, most rabbit hole shit YouTube channel you've found in your life. We're gonna talk about how boundaries and values that you have are being stifled by your fear of conflict. And this is a very personal topic to me as well, because when I went through middle school and high school, I was quite bullied. And I always had to kind of give up those values. I always had to kind of not stand up for myself or for things that I thought were wrong or right, because I was scared of conflict. I was scared of being beaten up, or I was scared of facing social rejection or negative consequences. And you may think, yeah, okay, like you won't act on your values at that time, but perhaps in the future then you'll be like, okay, now I'm feeling safe and I can act on them again. And you would be correct in assessing that. However, what tends to happen, or what I saw happen to me, was that because I didn't act on those values at the time, then I started to believe that I didn't have those values in the first place. For example, maybe you'd see someone, some kid being beaten up or being made fun of that you thought didn't do anything wrong, or maybe even yourself. People would say things about you that you didn't think were true, but you wouldn't stand up for yourself, or you wouldn't fight if you had to fight. And then you start to believe that, yeah, I'm just somebody who doesn't really fight for justice, who doesn't really hold that value within himself. And you start creating this identity, and that runs you through your whole life. And only after meditating a lot and really introspecting have I been able to realize that, in fact, I do have very strong values and boundaries. Like, I do have a very strong sense of justice. It's just that I don't enforce it because I'm scared of conflict. And so what I'm trying to give you with this message is perhaps making you think a little bit and maybe understand that you're going through something similar, right? We always see these videos, and one of my best videos has been on boundaries, by the way. So like, this has been something of a recurrent theme in my life. It's not that you need to enforce boundaries. It's not that you need to enforce values, or at least this is my case, okay? Maybe it's different from you, but maybe you can relate to this as well. It's not that you need to enforce values or boundaries, but rather you just have to allow yourself to acknowledge your own values and boundaries. You have to allow yourself to acknowledge your own sense of justice, your own sense of, let's say, fulfillment. You don't create these things out of thin air, or some guy you idolize on YouTube, or some guru or some coach. You create these values because they come with you. They are pre-installed, let's say. But you have to be very, very honest with yourself to uncover them. And so that's the introspective process, right? Like, you have to meditate and you have to be like, okay, what do I really feel about myself? What do I really feel about my family? What do I really feel about this person or that person? Because we often disconnect to those feelings. Because if we truly assess how we feel about these things, then we realize how far off the mark we are in terms of enforcing the values and boundaries that we live by. So what's the first step? Well, for me, it has helped me to meditate, as I said, and look back into the past and see the times where I wanted to enforce my values and boundaries, but I felt scared. And then meditating on that, like, why did I feel scared? Okay, how would it feel like if I did enforce my values? What would it feel like if I forgave myself for not enforcing those values and boundaries? Because that's a whole nother topic, right? If you don't forgive yourself for the times where you didn't embody your values and boundaries, then you will always feel like you deserve to suffer, or you feel like you deserve to be punished. You'll feel a lot of guilt, and it's gonna be hard to come to terms with that. And if that runs you your whole life, like it has run me, to be really honest, then you'll find yourself almost never enforcing your values and boundaries, because who the fuck do you think you are, right? Like, that voice is telling you that. Big takeaways here is, number one, understand what your values and boundaries are, because they were not created out of nothing. They come with you. They're within your being, at least from my understanding. And so understand exactly the themes and the moments where you stop enforcing them. So look into your past. And number three, I would say forgive yourself for not enforcing them, because if you don't forgive yourself, you'll keep feeling like you somehow need to suffer, and you'll never really allow yourself to live life to its fullest. So if you like this kind of content, subscribe, because I'll be making more videos like this in the future. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.